Hi guys, this is SuperBoo3 and welcome to another worth playing review. Race to the Sun is an endless runner. The game starts off very simple. You just have to avoid all of the objects while staying in the sunlight. The levels do get considerably trickier as you advance to the different regions. Interestingly, the world map is regenerated every day, so you'll actually be playing on the same map for 24 hours until the next day when the world will change. This is, I think, a good idea in terms of endless runners because this doesn't really play as much like a typical endless runner as it feels more like a racing game in some ways. And I do quite like the idea that the maps don't change because it means that you get a chance to actually progress a little bit further when you learn the ins and outs of the current map. The core concept of the game is to get as far as you possibly can before the sun sets, and I quite like this idea. It certainly does add a sense of urgency to the nature of the game. I think a lot of endless runners, when you get in the zone, you can seem to go on forever, whereas here there's a lot more things in play having to deal with the sunlight, not being able to go into shadows because that will also slow you down and mean that you can't get as far. I haven't actually managed to stay in shadow long enough for my ship to stop completely, but whenever your ship does stop when the sun sets, it does explode, so I'd expect the same thing would happen even if you did just stay in shadow for a prolonged amount of time. There are various pickups and power-ups in the game that will make the game considerably easier as you advance in levels. The leveling system works by completing specific challenges. The challenges will range from simple things like reaching a certain distance, getting a certain number of pickups, to more complex things like only using the left direction when turning and getting perfect regions, and other ones such as getting multiple barrel rolls in a row. There are a couple of extra modes in the game. Here is Apocalypse Mode, which is basically the most punishing thing I've played in quite a while. It is nigh on impossible to tackle in Apocalypse Mode when you haven't got leveled up at all, because you will not have the power-ups required for the faster steering, which makes it a bit more bearable. There are just walls and obstacles everywhere. I mean, as someone who can get relatively far in normal mode, I'm just trying to highlight just how hard this mode actually is. And this is again why the benefits of the game world being the same for 24 hours. The third mode, which is available after you reach max level in the game, is called Labyrinth. As you can see here, the camera's actually in a different position. The mechanics in this are slightly different in that you are trying to get light bulbs to power your ship, which will allow you to get further in the game. That replaces the idea of touching the sun. This mode is actually completable, and I don't believe it is randomly generated, though I may be mistaken. It's very hard to remember if these map layouts are the same or not, so I can't say for 100% sure. But the fact it has got an ending would suggest that it probably is the same every time you play it. There is also a fourth mode, which is the playable credits, but I can't really call that a game mode in itself, although it is a very nice way to have the ending credits for the game. All round though, I think that this is a relatively fun game, and if you want to give an endless runner a chance, I think this is one of the better ones out there. The only ones I've had this much fun with was probably this and Jetpack Joyride, and I think this is debatably the better game of the two, with the fact it's got a somewhat race-like nature to it. I definitely like the visuals. The music is fitting for the game as well. So in summary, if you have played endless runners and enjoyed them, this is definitely one to give a shot. If you like relatively challenging racing games, again, this is another one to give a shot. There is definitely enough difficulty here to challenge any players out there. I don't think anyone would be able to ever say this game is easy. There is some Apocalypse Mode seriously ups the difficulty rating in my mind, and like I said, with such nice visuals and decent music, it's worth the time investment, I think. Anyway guys, I hope that's a helpful review, and until next time, bye.